someone actually shouted us out on Instagram, which I find hilarious as well. Did you see Alex Hutch's post for us?
What?
I
No, I had
know!
no idea that he did that.
I know! Isn't that cute?
Whoa. Hey, yeah, like it was an over the weekend kind of thing where we created the Instagram, we're getting the YouTube sorted out. I'm sorry, by we I mean me, and I'm struggling with that terribly right now, but
And
I'm gonna do it.
and I'm fully in charge of the Instagram, and Z's not allowed to be involved at all.
No, I'm not pretty enough, and I've been kind of like in study mode, so I've put on like 5 pounds of like unwanted weight. So we're just gonna keep me off
For
of the
now,
Instagram
yeah,
for
yeah.
now, and then I'll send pictures of other things without my face, without my body, but with all the personality.
Thank goodness. And also, I posted our last episode on my Facebook for the first time. So it is our most downloaded podcast of all time. And that could have something to do with it. But I was really delighted to see that Hutch is sharing the good news. So hopefully we'll be able to share this one along at some point as well, and people will do that. And we're starting to get a little bit of a following on Instagram. So anyone from Instagram who is listening, hello. I love my little Instagram following right now. But I was thinking on that note, since people are actually starting to listen a little bit, maybe we should finally give some context to our name, because I know we've gotten made fun of a little bit for it, and maybe if we share the background, people will get behind it a bit more. What do you think?
It's I think it might show our age a little bit because it's an older show.
Is it? Well,
Relatively
yeah,
speaking,
I
it is a bit
guess.
of an older show, but it's probably one of the best shows. The most like underrated show about like 2 or 3 seasons. They've come out with a couple movies, but we actually got it from the In-Betweeners.
Yes, it's a very specific episode of the In-Betweeners. I first heard about this when I was in, oh, it must be first year university. And there's this one episode where this group of guys are making fun of one of their friends for making another friend from their football club, I guess, or they played football together, and they would just be drilling him like, "Your football friend,
Is that your football friend?
your football friend."
Friends. Oh,
Exactly.
friend, football friend.
And when I was thinking about the name, do you have anything to add to that before I go into my my Inception story here?
Uh, no, I've never heard the Inception story though.
Well,
Other than you have to watch The In-Betweeners. If you're struggling to find a show, first off, don't watch The Undoing because I don't even care. I'm gonna ruin it for people. Just the ending sucked. Um, and you need to watch The In-Betweeners
yes,
and
watch.
like and share and subscribe and follow us.
Of course. But when I was thinking about the name of my football podcast, because this was initially my idea, I thought Football Friends, it was just so logical because my buddies in college, we would always be like, football friends, football friends. And when I brought that up to Z when we're discussing what we're going to call this podcast, I brought up football friends just kind of like embarrassingly, like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, yes, 100%. I'm like, wait, do you even know what that's from? And he's like, oh, yeah, of course, the In-Betweeners. And also, I think it bridges our friendship as well, because it is we became really close when we lived in England together, and it's a British show. So I also thought that was kind of neat for our friendship and origin story as well.
There's so much going on that it just makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, and I hope that people will stop making fun of us for it,
It's good. Do it.
as long as you share.
Yeah, exactly. Just if you have a problem, just like comment about it or something, and just like maybe try and egg us on, and we'll maybe reply to you if we feel like it.
Exactly. Any press is good press.
Sure.
So there's the background story on our name, but now we can get into the glorious week we just had. Some really incredible games this past week, one of which that was of particular note was the Patriots game. So what were your thoughts on the Patriots game and the implications of that going forward?
Okay, well, I feel as if with the Patriots, like the first half of the season. So just for a little bit of context, this happens like every year for the Patriots, where they get off to a poor start, and the media just immediately just jumps down their throats, and they're like, "Oh, this is Brady's done, Belichick's done, like this team's over, like da 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 da." We're seeing what happens with a Belichick team post Brady now. I think this is going to be a common theme for as long as he's coaching. But what will happen is they're going to probably get a few games where they're going to start tweaking, figuring out how they're going to play, and then they're going to something's going to click, and they're going to go from like a sub 500 team who's just like who's their identity, what are they doing, to like, oh, it's like Bill Belichick and the Patriots,
right?
Where
And
they're
just
going to start winning games.
To interject here, just for context as well, they crushed the Colts 45-0.
The Chargers, yeah.
Chargers. Yeah.
They beat the Chargers, who, by the way, the Chargers are a great team with probably one of the best rookie quarterback in the league right now. They're like 3-8, and I don't look at their record. I don't judge them for it because I think obviously with the newer QB, they score a ton of points. They're going to be in a place in the next few years where they're going to be serious contenders. In my opinion, I think they will be. They're looking that good, but they're going to have to jump hurdles like Bill Belichick Patriots team that's actually firing on all cylinders right now. 45-0 is in the NFL is like a smackdown,
especially for a team that has not been successful for the last several weeks, and people were doubting their capabilities. It's really impressive. So, are they the real deal? Is Bill Belichick just the greatest without Tom Brady, irregardless?
I think. Well, I mean, he will be. Even if he. Here's the thing: if Belichick loses every game from now till whenever, he's still going to be the greatest.
Yeah, well, he has the most Super Bowl titles of any NFL head coach. So.
Yeah, like he'll still be God mode, and he's going to take this Patriots team, and especially next year, what I don't think people are really realizing, because like here's the thing, what is it, little timestamp of our life here, it's December 8th 2020, so COVID vaccines are like right around the corner. Once this COVID era ends and you have all 8 players returning for the New England Patriot defense, plus what they're able to pull off right now, like they could be serious next year. Like I'm talking Super Bowl worthy if they finish off this year with a winning record.
Yeah, I would not put it past them. But with all that being said, I did, as is my habit, look into Bill Belichick kind of as a character and the Patriots as a team, because this is the stuff, like the drama, that really excites me. So I want to do a full episode on kind of the Patriots scandals over the years under Belichick's tenure, but I'll give a quick overview here because it's really fascinating, all the scandals that they found themselves intertwined in. Starting with Spygate in 2007, they were found to be stealing signals during a regular season game against the Jets, and they actually found handwritten diagrams of Steelers' defensive signals as well. So sketchy behavior there. In general, false injury report allegations going around. There were 2 former Patriots in 2014 that alleged they received false injury designations during their time in New England. There was the phenomenon of Deflategate in 2014, which was in the AFC Championship game against the Colts. So an initial report stated that the Colts linebacker DeQuell Jackson felt one of the footballs after he intercepted it, and he said that it was underinflated. And he let his coaching staff know, which then informed the league. After, I think it was like a 14-week investigation with over a 200-page report, they found that the Patriots were aware of this, and Brady must have at least been gently aware, which I'm putting in quotes. So they suspended Brady for 4 games and fined the Patriots $1 million and docked the franchise 2 draft picks. So that's probably their biggest scandal, I guess. So what were you thinking during that time in 2014?
I mean, it was everywhere, and to be totally honest, like this is when I was just getting involved with football, and this was of talk of the town. South Park made a hilarious a hilarious episode about um so quote misinterpreting the rules, end quote. That's a Belichick quote. And obviously everyone gets on the bandwagon. It's just more bad press against the Patriots, and that's how I see it now. And there's a lot of stories that come out about it, but I mean, they did it. All the evidence is there,
Yeah,
right? And
completely.
in the moment, you're pissed. And as a Seahawks fan, around that time, it wasn't great. I hated that, but now I take everything with a grain of salt. What, especially about the Patriots. I'm not a Patriots fan. Don't get me wrong, but like I can tell, especially at the beginning of this year, like the Pats are in trouble. Like, is Belichick over? They always say the same thing about them, and then that parlays into like the whole there's scandals about the Patriots. It happens often. So I'm not too bothered about it now.
Yeah, I was just getting into football at that time as well. I really couldn't understand the advantage of having deflated balls, but I guess it's easier to throw or grip or something. We'll get a quarterback on here at some point to give some hot takes on that, but that's my understanding. And obviously, it is an advantage that the league took it very seriously with 2 draft picks being taken away. Like, that's extreme. But that's probably one of their more notable scandals in the last couple of years. But moving forward, year after year, here we come. 2015, there is complaints of headset malfunctions with the Steelers. So during a home game in Gillette Stadium, the Steelers were complaining that they couldn't use their headsets and it was being muffled by a radio broadcast. But it seems like a few teams have complained that their technology has been tampered with when they're at Gillette Stadium. It's all hearsay, who knows? But it could be just due to inclement weather and a number of other things. People want to blame the Patriots. Go for it. 2019, the Bengals video scandal. On December 8th, 2019, 1 week before New England's matchup with the Bengals, a Patriots staffer was found in the press box of the Bengals-Brown game taking video that reportedly included extended shots of the Cincinnati sideline. I believe they said that they were filming for their one of their series, one of their TV shows. So, not a good look, but I think they're just a resourceful team. I want to say like there are many instances where the Patriots just outsmarted the other team with their knowledge of the rule book, and people just get pissed off by how good they are at interpreting the rule book and coming up with these plays that no one's ever even heard of. So when I was going through the list of their scandals, that popped up as well, and I'd like to do a more in-depth episode with all of this. But I'm just wondering, from your perspective, to what extent do you think these scandals have contributed to the Patriots' success over the year?
First off, do you know how much it cost the NFL to investigate Deflategate for 2 years?
No, I don't. Please tell me.
$22 million.
Oh, man. Wait, so how long were they investigating it for? Because I said just like
2 years.
2 years. Okay, so I was wildly off.
$22
Yeah.
million.
Jeez. Okay.
And they found that 11 balls were deflated, but like nothing really happened. I think they got slapped. I forget the repercussion of what actually happened with that. The simple answer to your question is like clearly they win a lot. So is there a correlation? I would probably assume so. I mean, that's probably the easy, smart thing to say right off the top of my head.
Well, and these
But
are just things that they've been caught for too. Like, imagine all the stuff they're doing that they don't get caught for.
and that goes for like any team in the professional sports era. I mean, if we look at the Houston Astros, which by the way, for those who don't know, Houston Astros got absolutely slapped last year. They won a championship, but they also won it by finding out other teams' calls, and then they would like do things like, so there's certain pitches that you do in baseball that the catcher would make a sign or whatever, but then the Houston Astros would like film it and then in real time relay that to the dugout, and then they'd like bang like a trash can, and the trash can on a certain type of like how many hits relays what kind of pitch it's coming in. Anyways, totally convoluted. But they did something like that and they got busted. They won a championship that year too, right? They got fined a bunch of money. They lost draft picks for it. Um,
But they have their
so this,
championship, so
and they got their championship, and they still, you know, they there's no room in sport for cheating at all, and there should be appropriate consequences. But at the end of the day, they still won. It's still going to be there, right?
yeah, they
Like
have the banner.
in 2020, I mean, this will be the is this even a real season question? And it's like, well, if a team wins during a championship year and they cheat, like, did they even win? This probably happened like more often than not. We don't even know. They're just smarter. They just dumb people get caught.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's their biggest fault. Maybe everyone cheats, but the Patriots always get caught, and they're just kind of dumb like that.
I doubt it. I bet they're cheating a lot more and they don't get caught. These are just some of the lazy cheaters.
And you know what? That's a good point. I think they don't get caught for a lot of the things they do. If you check out, if anyone has time, go check out the Charles Woodson interview with Tom Brady. And in 2001, there was like a something called the Tuck Rule.
Yeah, that's
Now,
what I was alluding to earlier with them knowing the rule book just a bit better. But yeah, please go on.
yeah, and go have a look at the video, and you see how Tom Brady reacts. Professional cheater.
Yeah,
Professional cheater. He
pretty
does it. He
much.
gets away. He gets away with murder. Trust me. He's like the O.J. Simpson if O.J. Simpson was an O.J. Simpson.
Wasn't an actual murderer. I think
Yeah.
Tom Brady's a pretty nice guy. So call me up when he murders Giselle and then we
Oh
can
God,
make
never.
no, please no. Okay, well, I hope we can get into that in more detail in the future. More news this week. Jets fired defensive coordinator Greg Williams with their losing record of 0-12. So I decided to look up other teams that have had winless seasons in the NFL, and there are only 5 since 1944. So we have the Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Baltimore Colts. So yeah, that was in 1982. That must have been a while ago. And most recently, 2008, the Detroit Lions and 2017 Cleveland Browns all had winless records. So do you think the Jets are just never gonna win this year?
It feels it. Anytime a team loses like that, you always think that's just going to be the case. And you look, what is it, 3 years down the line? Look at the Browns now, right?
Yeah.
It's a blip on the radar. It's going to go away. The Jets are going to come out. They're tanking right now. It is the tank bowl. They are going for the number 1 draft pick this year. That's 100%. And it sucks because like just Sam Darnold when he came into the league, like he was going to be a big thing. I actually drafted him in my league right away.
Oh
Not
wow.
right away. Sorry, that's poor language. I drafted him later in the rounds, and he had some promise, but under Adam Gase, on the other hand, like I don't know why Greg Williams was fired and why not Adam Gase, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like this is Adam Gase's second year, and his first season he was 31st in the league with points, dead last in yards, and he still holds those metrics like to this day. Um, they got the I'd say, I don't know. What do you think? Is Le'Veon Bell like one of the best running backs in the league?
I would say. So. I mean, he was at one point for sure.
Yeah. So they got the the best, arguably the best running back in the entire league, and they totally misused him, and he leaves because of it. And Adam Gase is still the head coach, and the general manager defends him, and they get rid of their defensive coordinator. Like it just, if the dude from Detroit gets fired, if Matt Patricia gets fired over that record, like what kind of standard is being set in Jets territory?
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
a really good point. Is like, what are they willing to put up with? And it seems like a lot at this point, but maybe we'll see for the end of the year how long he lasts for. But yeah, it's interesting how like one draft pick can make all the difference. Like one good draft year can turn your season around. And I mean, I'm not prepared to say that the Browns have turned their season around entirely. And same with the Detroit Lions, who had a winless season in 2008. Like they still suck, but like the Browns are better at least, and the Lions have had some promise. So I was watching this funny thing on Instagram of some Jet fans just cheering when they lost the game because they're looking for that number one draft pick. They don't want to win anymore. They're like, we're not going to make the playoffs. Nothing's going to happen to our season, so we might as well just lose out and get the top draft pick. So
I completely agree. Like they have to go for Trevor Lawrence. So and just so people understand, the the draft next year, the number one prospect is a dude named Trevor Lawrence. Now, if you haven't seen what he looks like, he's a beautiful human being. He's a specimen.
gorgeous, yeah.
He's gorgeous, long blonde hair. Anyways, I'm getting dreamy. Go check him out. He's a Clemson product. I don't think he's gonna be like Joe Burrow. Like he's not gonna have that kind of impact, but I think what he'll offer is like stability. I think he's a great throwing QB,
Right, but
not so much of a runner.
I've heard I've heard maybe these are just rumors, but him saying that if the Jets get the number one pick, he's gonna defer this year, which is might just be a rumor and it's bad sportsmanship or I don't know. I could understand it though. Like no one wants to go to the worst team out there, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's saying here that they're if the Jets get the number one, um, if the Jets get the number one pick, he may defer. That might be a thing.
Really? Okay, so it's not just a rumor.
No, it's not just a rumor. I'm reading an article about it right now.
Oh, yikes.
Wow.
Yikes. So we'll keep you posted on that one. And then as our resident Seahawk fan here, I heard you had some hot takes on what's going on over there. Would you like to share your disappointment?
You know what? It's expected. It really is. Like it's just what the Seahawks do. We show up to games, we like barely win, but we beat great teams though. Like that's the beauty of what we do, right? Like we can show up, beat amazing teams, and then we like lose bad games, and that was the worst game.
Yeah.
It's usually, especially in the last quarter there, where it's like let Russell cook, we can do it, not a big deal. I'm feeling like he could have done something there, and it just came down to the Giants and their defense, and Colt McCoy relatively had a better game. And I even think if the Jets on the remaining schedule are going to beat any team, it's probably the Seahawks.
Wait, what?
I'd say. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I'd say so. They let a lot of points go through. Their defense is coming up. Jamal Adams is back, and he'll be playing against the Jets. And we know that players that leave the Jets and they play against them usually have good games. Unlike Le'Veon Bell, who didn't have a very good game against the Jets when he was with the Chiefs. I just think if there's any team in the remainder of the schedule for the Seahawks that is going to beat the Seahawks, it's going to be the Jets.
That would just be wild. How depressed would you be?
Not depressed at all. We're still going to, I mean, we're going to beat the Rams. We're going to beat the Niners. We're playing against the Washington football team. I really like the football team right now.
I love the football team. Big fans.
Big football team fan. And I really think that we just play down to bad teams and they just beat us at their game instead of us beating them at our game. And that's just what it is. And I've come to terms as a Seahawks fan that that's just what it is. I don't even want to think about post Russell Wilson era.
Oh.
I don't even want to think about what we're going to look like after that.
Oh, but he's like got a lot of years left, yeah.
But right now, it's like cause for concern. We need way more consistency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. And speaking of bad teams, guess who's being replaced as starting quarterback for the Eagles? I guess you don't really have to guess. It's Carson Wentz. He's being replaced by Jalen Hurts. Philadelphia selected Hurts with the second round pick in the 2020 draft. He won a national championship with Alabama. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist with Oklahoma. And Wentz this year has had 16 touchdown passes and 15 interceptions. So he was removed from the game against the Packers. It didn't go so well for Jalen Hurts, but they just wanted to inject some life into their offense, and it's just not is not happening with Wentz. So what do you think? Is Jalen Hurts the answer to Philadelphia's problems here?
No, not, not at all. They've got a lot. I mean, like, okay, Wentz hasn't been playing good.
Yeah.
Like, he just hasn't. He hasn't. He's had a couple really abysmal games. He can run with the ball pretty good, and that gives them options. I mean, it sucks because their defense is actually pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, their defense shows up, they play well, and they give them a chance to win. But when it comes, unless it's like, against the against Green Bay, like that was pretty tight. That was pretty tight. And I think with Hurts and with the rest of the season, what are they, 3-8-1?
Yep.
So, like, it's going to be Hurts to the end. And Wentz is going to be in a supportive role. And that's probably the best thing for their future. Is it going to be the fix of their future? Probably not. But it's going to give him games, like serious game time against like some pretty good teams coming down the stretch
Yeah,
here.
just get some reps out there and give him a shot. Because, I mean, coming up, what they have the Saints this week, like, that will probably be bad for his ego. Or maybe it'll be great for his ego if he does super well. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just getting him some reps out there.
Yeah, that's going to be the best thing moving forward for the Eagles. Let the defense do what they do, but they got to just be a little bit creative on the offensive side here.
Yeah, exactly. Also, in other news, I saw this headline and I thought it was so funny. It was like the most normal thing to happen in 2020 is Vontaze Burfict got arrested. So he is, for those of you who don't know, a 30-year-old former member, a former Bengal, and more recently a Raider. According to TMZ, he was arrested for allegedly attacking a security guard at a Vegas casino. He was looking for a restaurant at the Cosmo called Secret Pizza, which is apparently very hard to find. It's like a speakeasy for pizza, and he was having a hard time finding it, obviously. And at one point, he felt like security was following him, so he turned around and got physical with security guards for that reason. So he was detained by the security guards and arrested for misdemeanor battery after the fact. So, according to The Guardian, during his time at the NFL, Burfict missed a total of 22 games due to suspensions, which is roughly 19% of his career. So what does this mean for money, right? He cost himself 4.6 million in salary due to these suspensions, and he'd also been fined 9 other times, costing $411,000. So that's around $5 million of his career earnings being deducted due to reckless behavior. Vontaze Burfict, everyone. Just typical getting arrested in 2020. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm still trying to figure out the speakeasy pizza joint on the Strip.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see, like, where do you find it? Like, there's got to be something cool to it. If you can't find a pizza joint, then it's got to be pretty hard to find.
No, it's no, it's a pretty special one. I think it's quite well known. Dave Portnoy went there and he did a little review of it. I think it's kind of infamous.
It's got great reviews. Oh my god.
Yeah, so he was really determined to get there.
Okay, on my own time, I'm going to look more into that, but I actually just got totally fixated on this speakeasy pizza joint. Brilliant.
I know, what a concept.
Okay, so Vontaze Burfict. Trying to find the correct word to describe Vontaze Burfict here. That I think he just is reckless.
Completely.
And, I mean, if you look at his high school, if you look at his college highlight reel, if you look at NFL, he got suspended for like an entire year for a head-on-head collision. He pushed a ref in a college game. He was like he was twisting ankles like purposefully. It was just brutal, and it just like, I don't know. He's just a reckless guy, and so what? It doesn't just, you don't just switch that off when you're off the field, right? It's a kind of personality.
He lives a high-risk lifestyle. He's just living on the edge here.
Nothing will get in between Vontaze Burfict and his pizza. I'll tell you that right now. Not even a couple security guards.
Of course not.
So,
especially if things are following him, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It's you. You know, screw around and find out. You're gonna fight a security guard. You're probably gonna go to jail. Like, I
Lesson
don't know.
learned. Now we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just an exciting event. It's been all over the news this week. Yeah, what do you expect? Now, just some games we're looking forward to for next week. There's actually one on tonight because we're
Oh,
recording
hell yeah!
Tuesday. So was it the Ravens Cowboys we have tonight?
It is the Ravens Cowboys, and we're looking at what time does it start at? Here,
In
let's go to
like an
Bet
hour,
365.
probably.
Yeah, 5:05.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we'll be able to watch it. So maybe we'll
I'm
talk.
betting the Cowboy spread. Betting the Cowboy spread is 8.5. I'm betting the Cowboy spread. I put money on the Washington football team yesterday, and I won that. Actually, sorry, I got to take you that was such a lie. Okay, go continue what you're gonna say, and then I'll
Well, now
flagellate myself.
I'm kind of handing it over to you here with games that we're looking forward to next week, and also just kind of acknowledging that we haven't even watched all of the games from this past week. It's not our fault that it's a funky year and the Ravens can't get a regular schedule. But yeah, we can comment on the Ravens game on our Bachelorette podcast. So tune into that, guys. What are you looking forward to next week coming up?
um, it's coming down to the wire now.
Mm-hmm.
This is, and for a lot of those people out there, this is your week 14 now, right? This is the week 13 review. We're coming up to week 14. This is going to be your first round of your playoffs for fantasy football. So this is the most important game out of any NFL schedule, is the one that you're playing in fantasy. So, in the real NFL world, we have I would say the Patriots and Rams is my first like game that I'm looking forward to. Rams are second in the division, and the Patriots are moving ahead with a ton of steam right now. I would say this is going to be a super tight game. That AFC East picture is looking really like the Bills are ahead. The the Bills are ahead. The Dolphins are inching closer to the Bills, and then you have the Pats just like kind of making it up slowly behind there. They have a chance. So I think that's kind of like a do or die situation for both teams. You have the Chiefs Dolphins. I think that's going to be a great game
That'll be
because
so exciting. Yeah.
yeah, Dolphins defense is just really good right now. And especially with the Chiefs barely winning against the Broncos. I think this one's going to be a pretty high scoring affair. Dolphins, like I mentioned, in the AFC East, they're chasing down that top spot in the AFC East picture. So it's that game there for that picture in that division is pretty big. Chiefs are fine. Chiefs are like, they've got that division. It's a lock. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter
they're
for
good.
them. But for the Dolphins, this is their World War II. For the next game, I like a lot of AFC East implications on the line here, which I
Sure,
really
yeah.
like. But the Steelers and the Bills.
Yeah, I
Bills
really want to see
are
this. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Steelers just lost to the Washington football team, which who said it? Who said it? I said it.
Yeah, that was your hot
I
take for
called
last
it.
week.
That was my hot take. I'm 1-0. I don't even remember what else my hot takes were, but I'm just 1-0 on hot takes.
I was actually just listening
I'll go undefeated.
to my hot takes, and I think I was wrong on most of them, but I was picking the logical ones, and there's a lot of weird things that happened this week. But a lot has been made of the Steelers' strength of schedule, right? So they had the easiest schedule leading up to this. There are some games that were narrowly won, or like major players were missing, or some scandal going on with the refs. So when they finally came up against a real contender such as the football team here, they lost. Now the Bills as well, really successful team this season. So I'm interested to see, are they going to fall apart when they're faced with real contenders, right? So what are your predictions for this week?
Okay, Steelers, Bills. I want to see the Bills win. Okay, if anyone watched Josh Allen, in his win last week, he looked so clean.
So spicy.
Like, just super spicy. Oh, so that was just over the Niners on the weekend, or like just yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
he looked great. And with the Steelers, like, are they going to slow down? Is this a bit of a wake up call? I think the Bills. I'd like to see the Bills win, but I think the Steelers, similar to the Seahawks fashion, will play up to the expectations. And the Bills are one of the best in the league right now, so I think they're going to step up their game and they're going to win a narrow victory against the Bills.
Okay.
So I think Steelers are going to take this one.
And just a side note on that as well, the Ravens-Steelers Wednesday afternoon game, just a fun fact here, had better ratings, more viewers than the NBA final. So there was 11.4 million for football, and then over the course of the NBA final, there was an average of 6.4 viewers per game. Just thought that I would bring that up. And then the Christmas tree lighting had like 7 million after that, which is, who would have thought? But there you have it.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to, like, is the reason gonna prohibit us from future endeavors? Like, is that a problem?
What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, just like, if you look into any of the reasons why people don't watch the NBA finals, or if the ratings have dropped dramatically for the NBA, like...
Oh, why have they dropped?
Oh God, I'm kind of nervous. I don't want to talk about this. This is like, even though it's just a fact, like it's just like, it's just.
The point is, the viewership for football is way bigger than in the NBA. But the thing with that is, the NFL has their scandals as well. So why is the NBA getting boycotted? I guess it was almost double the amount of viewers on a regular season Wednesday afternoon game than there were for the finals. That's surprising to me, no matter what the scandal is. So it's just a better sport. It's a beautiful sport for beautiful people.
It's a better sport.
Exactly.
That's a very down the line.
That's our hot take.
That's our hot take.
That's our hot take for this week. Don't ask any more questions. This is not a conspiracy podcast. We're just sharing the news. Now, I think I see some crazy predictions for you here. So what are these predictions that you have for this week?
Okay, here's the thing. I nailed the Washington versus Steelers game. I called it. I said it. I'm feeling good going into this week.
Feeling confident, yeah.
I'm not just calling. I'm not calling games because I'm calling them just for being crazy about it. I genuinely believe. I think from the bottom of my gut, this is what's going to happen. So Giants are going to extend their 5-game winning streak against the Cards. Cards have been looking shaky. They haven't been that great. Their offense has kind of come to a stop. Their defense has been good, but I think the Giants are finding ways to win games. I think Daniel Jones coming back will be helpful. Even though Colt McCoy was looking really good, I think that they're going to turn that 4-game winning streak into a 5-game against the Cards. I think that'll be a tighter affair. Texans are going to beat the Bears. Bears lost their last game in a nail biter to the Lions. That destroyed my parlay. I lost $10. I was upset. Hate the Bears. Go Texans.
Yeah, hate the Bears.
Hate the Bears. Niners are going to lose to Washington. Washington's going to have their winning streak extended. Alex Smith, daddy mode. The Jesus reincarnate. He died. He came back. He suffered for our sins, and now he is beating the Steelers. Alex Smith is Jesus. That is not crazy. It's not conspiratorial. It is a fact. And then also just because I just feel like the Lions, they beat the Bears.
Say it. The Bears suck.
The Bears are awful. They're the worst. And I know that the Packers. This is crazy.
This is crazy.
The Packers destroy bad teams. We just know this. Like they just steamroll them. They play. It's not like the Seahawks where they play down. They play up, and then they'll like blow big games. The Packers are going to lose to the Lions. The Lions are going to come out. They're under a new head coach. They have a totally new life to them.
Well, exactly.
I think DeAndre Swift is coming back.
If you're under a new coach, how do you expect to have that rhythm right away?
Well, they won their last game against the,
But it's the Bears. Now you're up against a really strong team, being the Packers, and they've played each other several times, and the Packers have a tendency to beat the Lions. So I'm offended that you would even say that or suggest it. I don't like this bad energy that you're putting on my beautiful Packers. So
I said the Jets. I'm fully transparent. I said the Jets are going to beat the Seahawks earlier. I think if they're going to beat any team on the remainder of the schedule, it's going to be the Seahawks. So maybe I didn't say they're going to beat them, but like if they were going to beat a team, it would be the Seahawks.
Yeah, but you also say that the Seahawks play down to bad teams, and the Packers over their last schedule, like when they were playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, like we were immediately like, yep, they're going to win that one. When they were playing the Eagles, we were immediately like, yep, they're going to win that one. So why with the Lions do you think that they have the edge over the Jaguars and the Eagles? Why are you unsure about the Packers being able to pull this one off?
New coach, new life, new beginnings. And I think the Packers aren't going to be able to read them as well. I think DeAndre Swift is playing really well. Matt Stafford, like he's low-key one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league. Marvin Jones Jr. is going to have a big game. Adrian Peterson's been getting on his feet. Like, just, I think they're becoming a little bit more well-rounded. And after a win over, even though it's the Bears, and they barely edged the Bears, they're going in with momentum. What? Packers beat the Eagles. Okay, sick. Like, they stomped them. Sick. But I think the Lions will put up a better fight because they can do a lot more.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see in a week. I hope you're wrong. I truly do. But it'll be an interesting week for sure because, I mean, every game's a must-win game unless you're the Jets, and every game is a must-lose game because
Trevor Lawrence.
They're looking for that draft pick. Well, thank you for those hot takes. I think Z's been looking into recruiting a new person for a more in-depth analysis podcast, so we can look forward to that segment in the coming weeks.
Ooh, yeah, I'll give the update. I got an update on that one.
Are we going to share it on the podcast live?
Yeah, I'll share it right now.
All right. I'm hearing this too for the first time. I'm very excited.
I'm going over on Sunday with my computer, and I'm going to meet up with our friend Mitchell and Christopher, and hopefully Mitchell. I haven't brought that up yet, but hopefully he could show me how to upload properly what he thinks he uses, just so I can get the foot on. Step the foot on the gas pedal, and that'll make the car go faster.
Okay.
And Armando is a potential person to chat to on the third podcast we're doing. So
yeah, we're going to be super busy.
Sunday.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, our audience is growing. Our most recent podcast had a great download rate, so I'm hoping it'll just increase every week. And like, I don't really have any expectations for this podcast, but I am really satisfied when I see the views go up. So I am just clawing for those. And it's fun. I like, chatting and researching and all that. So Z is going to put in the legwork here, and I'm going to continue posting cute pictures of me on Instagram so that you guys want to listen to us. I think we have a good strategy going forward.
Oh, we're also starting a Football Friends OnlyFans.
Oh, shut up. No, we're not.
But it's just feet pics, though.
Yeah, it's only going to be Z's feet.
Yeah, you're getting my feet, my crusty little feet.
Oh, yikes. No, thank you. But yeah, lots of stuff coming up. We'll be watching The Bachelorette tonight and then reviewing it tomorrow, so please tune in for that. And apart from that, I am so happy that I got a chance to chat about this insane week with you, and look forward to sitting down with you tomorrow to talk about our other passion, which is The Bachelorette.
Bennett goes home tonight, I bet.
Ooh,
I swear.
On the money line. Yeah, okay. On the money line. Looking forward to it. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.